Hi there, I'm Moira Newis and my aim is to help you prevent or recover from burnout or chronic fatigue and get your energy back. So in my last video, I spoke about how our body reacts to stress and fear by activating our sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight reaction, an evolutionary reaction that helps us run away from a lion or fight off a predator. I then explained how chronic ongoing stress can continue to activate our nervous system in an unhelpful way, and that if it continues, eventually the body struggles to cope and we are at risk of burning out. So today I'm going to talk about burnout and how cumulative mental, emotional, physical and environmental stresses can all contribute to that overload and result in inflammation and can affect our immune system too. Burnout is the body's way of protecting us and sending us into a survival mode. An example from nature would be when a baby antelope appears to play dead and the predator senses it and lets it go, being fooled into thinking it's carrion. If you have ever experienced a profound shock, such as an unexpected death, or perhaps been in a car accident, you may have felt the effects of this mode, which can include collapsing, fainting, or feeling completely numb. Sometimes, under extreme chronic stress, our bodies get shocked into this kind of survival mode and get stuck there. And this can result in extreme fatigue, a feeling of being dissociated or detached from life, or depressed, and it is the response of the dorsal primitive part of our parasympathetic nervous system. In 2020, and now that we're moving into 2021, we've had to deal with more stress than ever. COVID has created a huge fear in society, not only of the virus itself, but of human interactions in our day-to-day lives. However, even before COVID hit us, many of us were at risk of suffering stress and burnout. You might already have had to cope with a range of stresses, including mental and emotional ones, such as relationship difficulties or grief, financial difficulties or work-related pressures, and cognitive stresses, such as feeling isolated, having too much information to process, and uncertainty, all of which add to the mental load that you carry around. Now, while you might associate psychological stress with the risk of burnout, you might not realise that non-mental stresses can also contribute to burnout. Examples of physical and environmental stresses on the body include things such as the extremes of exercise, both the lack of it and extreme exercise, poorly regulated blood sugar levels, excess body fat, injuries from accidents or surgical interventions, extremes of cold or heat exposure, dehydration, nutritional deficiencies, a lack of sleep, infections, pollutions, toxins or chemicals from alcohol or drugs. And whether it's mental, emotional, environmental or physical stress, our body has to cope with all of these by trying to rebalance our biochemical functions and bring them back into balance. If stress continues as a chronic situation, it can result in inflammation and have a significant effect on the immune system that ultimately may manifest in illness. And this in turn raises the risk of our immune system malfunctioning. One of the difficulties in our modern lifestyle is that we often accumulate stressors without realising it until we stop to consider our lifestyle. And to give you an example of this, perhaps you are a doctor, a lawyer, or an accountant with a significant amount of work-related stress, perhaps combined with some minor family relationship stresses. But this year you've also had to work in very unusual circumstances. You might feel more isolated or have more distractions to cope with at home and feel more anxious as a result. In addition, perhaps you've turned to alcohol to help or stopped exercising as much due to your emotions during lockdown. It might also be difficult to stop work when there's no natural end to the workday and colleagues are still online. Dark nights and lockdown may mean that you're not able to meet friends to have a laugh and relax together. Each and every one of these stresses contributes to how healthy you are and how well your immune system is functioning. Extreme tiredness is one of the symptoms of burnout, but interestingly, it's also one of the main symptoms of chronic fatigue and post-viral conditions such as long COVID. Collectively, each of these conditions is associated with sleep disruption, depressive or anxiety symptoms, and brain fog, as well as fatigue. They are all linked to chronic low levels of inflammation in our body, a reduced immune response, and raised blood glucose levels. Inflammation is the common mechanism behind all three of these conditions, and it's also the common underlying factor with many chronic diseases. Inflammation is the body's natural response to injury or infection, and it protects us from bacterial, viral, and toxic dangers by eliminating them and promoting repair and recovery. Inflammatory responses induce energy-saving behaviours known as sickness behaviours, such as fatigue, altered sleep patterns, and social withdrawal, as well as increased blood pressure and blood sugar levels. And this normal inflammatory response is usually a temporary situation that resolves once the threat has passed. However, we now know that stresses, including some of those that I've just mentioned, can prevent the inflammation resolving, resulting in persistent low-level chronic inflammation and abnormal immune function. I hope that this video today has helped you understand the link between stress, burnout, inflammation, and immunity. Next time, I will be giving you some strategies to help you beat burnout and keep as healthy as possible in 2021. Thanks for watching today. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment below to let me know whether you thought this was helpful for you. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, please give me a follow. And above all, please head over to my website at www.moiranewis.co.uk and sign up for my newsletter with helpful information and advice to help you prevent burnout and fatigue and get your energy back again.